Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Hunter, bringing you another episode of Hunting the Fish Podcast and another adventure. Before we get started with this video, a couple things I want to let you know. Joining me today is my 3-year-old son, Damien. He's a little bit under the weather. But he's spending the day with me while mommy works and daddy has the day off. Secondly, when I started this adventure series 2 weeks ago, I had pretty much planned a mental list of the places that I would go. And for the sake of the videos, I will keep those to myself. However, the next 4 videos will be locations throughout Broome County, more specifically the southern tier. And due to the severity of the recent crime levels, more than likely I will be conducting each of the videos in my car instead of out touring the areas as I did in the last 2 videos. After I get done doing my videos out in the southern tier, I will be going out to other locations. Hopefully that I can, walk around and showcase some of the areas to you and talk to you about the history of each area. So with that being said, on today's episode, we've decided to go to the town of Vestal. Located in the southern tier of Broome County. Vestal was founded in 1823 as part of the southern portion of the town of Union. It was settled by the Indians, more specifically the Tuscarora, the Chugnut, and the Choconut tribes. And once it was devoid of Indian reservations, it was basically transformed into Broome County's largest business district. In 1841, construction was started on the $50 million project that became known as the Vestal Parkway. And it was completed in 1953. The Vestal Parkway is basically the span of the entirety of the town of Vestal and is one of the main attractions for the area. Being as I've spent 32 years mostly in New York State, I guess I could say that I'm pretty proud to have spent most of my time in different locations throughout Broome and Tioga County. One of the locations that I am actually glad I've spent a lot of time in is the town of Vestal. Unfortunately, it is one of the few areas that I can say I'm glad I spent my time in. But we'll get to those reasons as the video series goes along. When you think of the town of Vestal, if you are a New Yorker, more specifically, if you live in the southern tier, you think of the Vestal Parkway. My opinion on the town of Vestal, being as a New Yorker myself, I normally associate the town of Vestal with the Vestal Parkway, but I also associate it with the areas outside of the Vestal Parkway. Being as I am a history enthusiast, I have also taken the interest of the historical aspect of the town of Vestal, and I have done a lot of research over the years, personally and professionally, into some of the backstories of the town of Vestal. As I mentioned, including the construction of the $50 million Vestal Parkway, the population of Vestal, which as of 2010 was 29,110 residents. Obviously, that was 4 years ago, so it may have increased or decreased over the years. Also, I have studied not many of the demographics of the town of Vestal, and, compiled them into this video for you. The town of Vestal is one of the largest towns in New York State, encompassing a whopping 56.6 square miles, which is, it's not a a horizontal, it's not just a horizontal demographic of the town of Vestal. It is the town of Vestal as a whole, which is horizontal and vertical area of the town of Vestal. When I come to Vestal, 9 times out of 10, it is for one of two reasons: grocery shopping, or just shopping in general, or eating. Obviously, I like food, and Vestal is very fortunate to have some areas that are only present in Vestal. Many of those locations include Red Robin, Chili's, Olive Garden, Red Lobster, which I have never been to due to my seafood allergy, the former Uno's Chicago Bar and Grill. There's also recently implemented Jersey Mike's, Core Life Eatery. There is Moe's. We are the last Southern Tier location in New York State to have a Chuck E. Cheese and a Long John Silver's. We are also the last Southern Tier location to have, or should I say the most recent Southern Tier location to have a Jimmy John's. And we also have a Sam's Club and a TGI Fridays. Now, I could go on talking about just the food places, but that would get pretty boring, because Vestal as a whole is a lot more than that. Vestal is also the only place in the Southern Tier of New York that has a Target, that has a Burlington Coat Factory, that has a TJ Maxx, that has a GameStop very recently, due to the one in the Oakdale Mall closing. We are also, Vestal is also one of the only places to have a, 2 Gap stores. And we also have one of the only left in Broome County Lowe's. The other Lowe's location is in Binghamton on Upper Front Street. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Other than that, we also have a lot of recent openings in Vestal as far as new stores, restaurants, etc. With the aforementioned Red Robin, Chili's, Jersey Mike's, Moe's. Excuse me. We have a Mexican restaurant, the first of its kind, coming very soon. We also have the recently opened Tai Chi bubble tea and Pokeball restaurant. Excuse me. For those of you who don't know, Tai Chi is a Japanese restaurant. I will tell you, their bubble tea is very good. I have had it 3 different times. They also recently opened a cannabis dispensary farther down the parkway. And they also opened a boot barn over in the Target Plaza, which we also have one of those down here in Vestal. Other than that, we have a lot of your normal fast food restaurants and eateries. We have a Dunkin' Donuts, we have a Weis, which is the parking lot that I'm sitting in. We have a Burger King, we have a McDonald's, there is 2 or 3 Chinese restaurants, 2 liquor stores, numerous banks. There is a Starbucks. There's actually 2 Starbucks located in Vestal, which ironically, one is a standalone and the other is located in a Barnes & Noble, which back in my reading days, I visited quite regularly. Not so much anymore due to lack of time and interest in reading. I previously mentioned that Vestal has a Walmart and a Sam's Club, founded by business entrepreneur Sam Wall back in the 1920s. And obviously those 2 places, Sam's Club less than Walmart. Walmart is a haven for out-of-town shoppers such as myself that live in areas that do not have very adequate shopping, or just like to travel and do their miscellaneous grocery and odds and ends shopping. There's also an Arby's down here. There is also a I mentioned McDonald's. There's also a Nurchie's down the parkway. There's also a Wendy's. There's an Applebee's. There is an Office Depot. Yeah. Pretty much within the entirety of Vestal. And obviously Vestal, the one thing that they have in common with the WeGo is that Vestal as a town has the resources to continue to expand Well, I wouldn't say expand, because then they would be dipping into other towns and counties and stuff like that, but they have the potential to expand their business acumen, as far as out with the old, in with the new, with new businesses coming in and out all the time. They also have numerous areas that open up periodically that new shops could go into. I mentioned the Boot Barn previously was half of a former grocery store known as Price Right. But before that, for all of you 90s kids out there, Price Right as a whole was the location of the only Circuit City in Broome County. Since that went out of business back in 2006, I believe, they have been constantly looking for things to put in there that will bring in business. And hopefully this Boot Barn that they have opened up has given them the opportunity to do so. I mentioned that Boot Barn is half of the former Price Right. The other half is supposed to be converted into a location known as Ross Dress, which is basically a dress company. There hasn't been much word on the progress on that. However, construction does continue on it, and hopefully will be opening soon. I mentioned earlier that a Mexican restaurant that I cannot pronounce for the life of me, will be opening soon in Vestal as well. I mentioned that it was going to be the first of its kind. Let me give it a shot at the name of it. It is called a Kubota restaurant. Not sure what that means, but being as I am a fan of trying new things, as soon as they finally get it built, I will definitely stop in and try it. Construction began back in September of 2023 and was slated to be concluded by the end of the year. However, it is now the middle of April, and all they have is the foundation built. As I mentioned, behind me we have the Weiss. Hold on a second. See if, there we go. I'm actually sitting in the parking lot to do my video. Recently, some of the uptown Weisses have gone out of business. This one, however, in my opinion, is in a convenient location, because behind it is the Anthos Properties of Vestal, a apartment type complex that obviously deals with housing arrangements and stuff like that for the town of Vestal. And it's convenient for the people out there up here, because if they need to get groceries, they can walk down here to the Weiss and easily carry their stuff back to their apartment. It is also a haven for the college students that live in the area, which, trust me, there are plenty of those. Which brings me to my next subject in the town of Vestal. Not sure if I mentioned this earlier in the video, but when I think about the town of Vestal, I think of more of an entertainment hub than a living area, just because of all the things that, Vestal has to offer. Vestal is home to numerous entertainment facilities. I mentioned Chuck E. Cheese. There is also Midway Lanes. There is the Defy indoor, entertainment center. There is also Chucksters on the outskirts of Vestal. There is also the Vestal Rail Trail during the summertime and the warmer weather the warmer seasons of the year. Thousands, if not millions of people go down to the rail trail and walk the 2.1 mile trail. Putting the two of them together, the Vestal Rail Trail is actually a historic site, especially for somebody like me. On June 8th of 1908, a train carrying dynamite exploded at the site of the rail trail, killing 12 railmen and 12 people. And has been deemed a historic landmark to the town of Vestal. And speaking of historic landmarks, shortly after that, the Vestal Rail Trail was also home to the famed Vestal Museum, which is the former Vestal train station that now sits down by the Vestal Public Library and the historic Vestal High School. The Vestal Museum itself was slated to move back to the rail trail. Unfortunately, there has been a delay with the process, and it sits closed until the proceeds can go ahead and get the Vestal Museum returned home, as they're calling it. So that's pretty much all I've got for you guys as far as, talking about the town of Vestal, at least on, a personal level. I'm actually going to see if it'll stop raining for a couple minutes so that I can hop out and show you guys some of the area where I'm sitting, which is kind of why I decided to park where I did. So if you just give me 1 second here. All right. So I am now outside of my car, and as I said, behind me in the distance is the Weiss of Vestal. Behind that, up on the hill, is the Anthos Properties, the housing community that services this area. And obviously behind, in the area behind that is mostly college housing and senior living. I'm actually going to turn my camera around and the parkway. Kind of slow, which is an understatement for the parkway for a Sunday afternoon. Over there in the distance, we have the Dunkin' Donuts that I was talking about. We have one of the very many car dealerships in Vestal. I believe it's a Matthews Auto Center. Down there in the distance is the Lowe's that I was talking about. And in front of that, down in the corner, is the Burger King that I almost got a job at, but did not. Down here we have the former Ken Matthews car dealership, which was actually renovated back in 2015 or 16, I believe, or 17, and was turned into a very small plaza. Over there in the distance, I pointed out the Chili's. Still have not ate there, but I have heard their food is really good. Next to it, on the left, we have the Aspen Dental, the Urgent Care Center, the Vitamin Shop, and a Sleep Number building. And then next to that, which if I walk down here, you can actually maybe be able to get a view. Behind this chiropractic building is one of my favorite restaurants, the Red Robin. Over here to the left, we have a smaller plaza, which is home to Jersey Mike's, GameStop, and Starbucks. Up until about has it been that long? 10 years ago, probably. It used to be the location of a Pier 1 import center, which has since gone out of business, and all of its locations have closed. The building sits vacant, and no plans have been discussed to do anything with it. Hopefully that changes in the future. Jersey Mike's recently opened within the last 2 years in half of the building, but the other half remains empty. Over there in the distance, I had mentioned the Walmart Plaza, also known as the Town Square Plaza, which is home to 90% of your shops. You have Five Below, Dick's, Ulta Beauty, Burlington, TJ Maxx, Designer Shoe Warehouse, Shoe Carnival, the movie theater, obviously Walmart, and Sam's Club, Dollar Tree, Van Cott Jewelers. You have a nail spa, Spectrum, Sweet Frog, Gap, Carter's, and of course the Tai Chi bubble tea shop. And then, I'm not sure, oh, I forgot I can increase my magnification. Over there in the distance is the Shops at Vestal, which is home to a bunch of clothing and home goods stores. Recently they got a Maurice's, which haven't been in there, but thinking about going in there at some point just to say I went in there. Obviously, again, I said the Weiss is over here, and they of course have a Chemung Canal Chinese restaurant, a hair studio, which is very weird. Once upon a time, they used to have a CVS in here, which I don't think that made any sense to anybody, but to each their own, I guess. Over there on the hill is the Target, which I mentioned is home to the Boot Barn. It is also home to a Kohl's, an Outback Steakhouse, a Men's Warehouse. The McDonald's is down there in the plaza as well. And it is also home to a game room that recently moved from the mall, and is also home to what else is up there? A beauty salon and the PetSmart. So yeah, Vestal, as I mentioned, when I think about Vestal, I consider it more of an entertainment hub than anything else, just because of what it has to offer and, you know, what it brings to the whole of New York State and the Southern Tier as a from a business perspective. I personally have actually held 2 different jobs in Vestal. The one I currently work at, which is Moe's, and also the Vestal Bakery. If I lived a little bit closer to Vestal, I would explore the options of, you know, working somewhere close to Vestal. However, working at Moe's is a pretty long trip. It takes me about 20 minutes from where I live to get to work every day. But it's better than, I can't say it's better, but the job as a whole treats me better. Trying to think, what else can I? I mentioned earlier that Vestal is always planning new establishments to come into the area, and very, very recently, within the last 5 months actually, there has been a rumor swirling around the area, and it's not just limited to Broome County, it's also gotten all the way back to Tioga County as well. But there is a rumor swirling around that pretty soon Vestal will be the first location for a Dairy Queen. Now, I unfortunately, in my 32 years of existence, have never been to a Dairy Queen, due to the fact that I do not travel to areas on a regular basis that would have those type of places. I don't even know where there is a Dairy Queen. I'm pretty sure there's one up near Syracuse, but I'm not going to go all the way to Syracuse just to go to Dairy Queen. Ain't nobody got time for that. If I'm going to go to Syracuse, it's normally to go to the mall, but we know how that works out. Unfortunately, as of right now, it is just a rumor due to the fact that nothing has been confirmed yet. However, in a recent press release, I think it was within the last 2 months, the town supervisor of Vestal has stated that she has not heard anything confirming that a Dairy Queen was coming to Vestal. However, the location of the rumored Dairy Queen is directly next to a hotel that is co-owned by the CEO of Dairy Queen. So, not being one who believes every rumor that he hears, it is at this point just a rumor. However, the news outlets have told us not to weigh out the possibility of a Dairy Queen in the future. So I have high hopes for that. If I can come to Vestal to get some really good ice cream, I will do it in a heartbeat. As much as I like coming to Vestal, that would be another feather in my cap that I can check off my to-do list. However, being as it is just a rumor, trying not to get my hopes up. Excuse me. Hopefully, within the next couple days, and hopefully the next time I do my video for you guys, the weather will be more decent. My kid will feel a little bit better. I will feel better. I am a little bit under the weather myself, and I have some sores in my mouth that unfortunately hurt, which, you know, not really anything I can do about those without a wasted trip to the walk-in. But me as a whole, I like Vestal. I'm proud to say, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I'm proud to say that I spend quite a bit of time here. And don't get me wrong, I love where I live, but it's nice to be able to get out of Owego every once in a while for reasons other than just to go to work. And also so that, you know, I can keep up on the happenings in possibly one of the busiest areas of Broome County. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video, and I'm going to thank you all for your time talking about the amazing, busy, but popular town of Vestal. And I will see you on the next trip to the pond.